A very warm welcome to a very special edition of Ultimate Pool Extra, because we are on location in Blackpool for a very big weekend in the Ultimate Pool world. We've got the Pro Series, the Challenger Series and the Women's Series. And joining me today to talk through it and work out what's going to happen, Jimmy Croxton, Harriet Haynes and as ever, Scott Ryan. First of all, welcome guys. Jimmy, you've been on before. Great to have you back. Harriet, first time on the show. How much are you looking forward to getting involved?
Excited, yeah. Thanks for having me.
And Scott, we've got plenty to talk about with you. A little bit of needle. We've got some debates on the picking of results as well. So look forward to that a little bit later on. But the first thing we need to talk about, we have got a lot coming up this weekend, but we do need to talk about what's happened this week already. Aaron Davies coming through in the Monday night show, making it through to finals night in the Champions League. Phenomenal performance. Did you manage to catch any of that, Jimmy?
Yeah, caught a little bit. Yeah, Aaron as solid as ever. Rumour has it that he's only paid £15 to enter because he seems to be the king of the £15 tournament. So that must be it. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I say, I've said it before, it is a coin toss in that environment, and he was very, very solid in a very, very tough group with four, you know, world-class players. So fair play to Aaron, and he sort of makes an exciting finals night.
It does. The finals night is shaping up really nicely. Tom Cousins, Christophe Lambert, Stevie Dempsey, and now Aaron Davies. That's a mouth-watering finals night for Monday.
Absolutely. If four quality players, you can't really choose a winner out of them. Just looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, it should be an awful lot of fun. Scott, you were watching on Monday. What was it like to watch from home? In the venue, you could cut the tension with a knife. In that final match, it felt so nervous. Did that come across on the TV?
It did, but Aaron Davies, if that guy had bucket loads of confidence, I think he would achieve a lot more. He's a terrific player to kind of watch, kind of how he. People say he's not a quick player, and that's no disrespect. A lot of people do say that, but he seems to cope really well in that format for somebody who's apparently a very slow player.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point, actually, because he isn't the quickest player, but sometimes, I mean, you could say both of you played in this event, that 30 seconds, especially 15 seconds, you have to commit to your decisions.
You do, yeah. And unfortunately for myself personally, it was all the wrong decisions for me on Mondays. But yeah, I mean, and I think you can be sort of fooled to thinking, and you said there, Scott, that Aaron is not Ryan's brother. Ryan's not a very confident person, but I actually know him quite well. I speak to him quite a bit, more on a personal level, and he is, a confident person. He's just not very outward. But in terms of his performances and how solid he's on the table, you're always going to get a game with Aaron. It's never going to be easy. You're never going to be able to sort of bowl him over, and his results show that.
I said on Monday that for me, he's been the best player on Ultimate Pool without winning a title. Sorry, Jimmy, I know that you've been up there as well, but he's been knocking on the door constantly throughout the whole, and his level never seems to drop low. He always seems to play at an incredibly high level, and here he is in another finals night. He made the Champions League final last year. He's back in there this year. Who's to say he's not going to go on and win it?
He's got every chance, and England had to wait till the very final evening to get an English player in at finals night. Jake McCartney's obviously, he would be very disappointing after his performance the previous week. He certainly didn't play anywhere near that level. But it's all built up for an exciting evening on Monday night.
It absolutely is. And we're going to have some picks because we always do, Scott. I'm also going to come to you guys for some picks as well. But I want Scott to go first because you're 2-0 down between our little battle. So who are you picking for finals night?
Well, I did say even a broken clock is right twice a day, Simon, and you've been right twice. Well done. I'm going to go with Christophe Lambert. The guy's a class act and he's born for the big stage.
Okay, Christophe to get his first title on Paul. Harriet, who are you picking on Monday?
I hope Christophe wins as well. I mean, beating me in my group, coming top of that, it'd be nice to be beaten by the winner.
Okay, and Jimmy?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I'm gonna stay patriotic, and I'm gonna go with Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, I think Tom Cousins is probably going to be the favourite, but I don't think he's been putting as much time in. I know he's been on holiday since he last played, and whether he gets on this weekend, we'll wait and see. But I'm going to go for Stevie Dempsey. He's been fantastic through the whole competition, and I expect him to go on and win it as well. So make sure you tune in on Monday night to find out who wins that event. So the Pro Series this weekend, it's event 5 and 6. We've also got the Challenger Series and the Women's Series. All the action is on ultimatepool.tv. Make sure you tune in there, subscribe, $6.99 a month for that. And let's talk about the Pro Series first. A lot's happened in the first 4 events of the year. Nick Hill's won twice, Chris Mellings won once, and Jack Whelan won the other one in fine style at Birmingham. What are we expecting this time around, Scott?
Drama, yeah, I think, is probably the best word. You've got the new generation of players who kind of really looked like they were going to come to the fore over the course of this season. You've seen a fight back from, for lack of a better phrase, the old guard. There's somebody I'm really keen to see this weekend, and that is Craig Waddingham. I watched him play against Scott Gillespie at the last event, and he played pretty much flawless pool. I think that this weekend, for me, he's one I'm really keen to look at again.
I mean, he plays brilliantly every time we see him play. Very rarely has an off day, and got a deep run last time. You wouldn't be surprised to see him go deep again. Harriet, who are you looking forward to seeing this weekend?
I'm always looking forward to seeing the old guard. I mean, just watching Mick Hill, Gareth Potts, Chris Melling. I mean, what Chris Melling does with the cue ball is just amazing. But yeah, I would love to see Gareth win another event. I think he's the pro who's putting the most time in, and he deserves the fruit of the rewards.
Yeah, big fan of seeing players that put that much effort in, and of course he's going for 4 consecutive Pro Series weekend finals. He's met 1 victory and 2 losses over the last 3 Pro Series weekends. 4 finals on the trot would be pretty special, but of course I'm sure he wants to go one step further. How about yourself, Jimmy? You're playing in the event. Happy with your draw? I mean, do you even look at the draw?
Well, it's not really. No, I mean, it's obviously, sometimes you can look at a draw and go, okay, well, it's a preferred draw maybe, but come on, let's be honest. At this level, anyone is capable of turning up on the day and putting in their best performance and beating you. The rules and the way that the tables play lend themselves to it being a very open and attacking game, and anyone's capable of beating you on the day. So. No, I hope you're wrong, Scott, because I think if Craig wins his first match, he's got me. So I hope he plays terribly. No, but he's a good friend of mine, and obviously always look forward to playing against the big names. Craig is a danger to anyone on his day. So let's see how the weekend pans out. But I've been pretty busy, tournaments every weekend the last 5 weeks. So
Feeling good coming in?
I feel good coming in, but who's to know what might happen. I said this the last time I played on the Monday nights, and played terribly, let's be honest. So, I don't come in with any sort of expectations. If I play well, I'm more than capable. But yeah, an exciting weekend of pool coming up.
And of course, now that we're going into the second half of the season, we've got 4 Pro Series weekends left. The rankings start to take, we're taking a lot more note of it. We've talked about it all the way through, the fact that the top 16 are going to have a big advantage going into next year with Ultimate Pool expanding, more wildcards coming in, all the challenges going up. So the top 16 as a player, are you really looking at the top 16? Are you trying to put out your mind, or are you very aware that ranking points are huge?
Of course, yeah, you are very aware, because you may come in at round 3, which is a huge thing. And obviously the way that things are progressing, who knows, the top 16 players may already be on money at some stage. So it is a big thing. It is what you want to achieve. I think if you speak to any of the players, speaking to Jack Whelan at the last event, he won an event, but he just said, look, the main thing is the top 16. He's not bothered whether he finishes 16th or 1.
Yeah.
He's in that 16, so that's what we're all aiming for. So yeah, I think the rankings are going to swap and change quite a bit over the next couple of events.
And if we take a look at the rankings, we can see, if we're talking about the top 16, Jimmy, you finished last year in 17th. You're currently provisionally ranked 17 for this year. What is it about the 17th you like so much?
At least I'm consistent. I am the most consistent player on the tour, so that's good news for me. I don't move anywhere. It's sort of nail biting really being there, because I've not really done a great deal wrong, apart from the Monday night. I think I've 2 quarterfinals, I think, and a semi-final, and then the other 3 matches I've sat in my chair. So I can take that. At the end of the day, that's the level that we play at, and that's what's going to happen. So I just need maybe one more push, maybe it's another semi or a final. Probably will elevate me into that 16 and keep me right in there. Yeah. So pressure's certainly on.
And Harriet, you mentioned the fact that you quite like the old guard, watching them this weekend. If we look at the rankings, you can see Mick Hill, Chris Melling and Gareth Potts all in the top 5. Mick Hill currently occupying the number 1 spot. It's going to be a fascinating final 4 events on the Pro Series to see which one of those players, others of course as well, can get to the number 1.
Yeah, there's always drama every weekend at Ultimate Pool, and this weekend will be no different. They kind of have a psychological edge over the new guard, like Jimmy. No offense, but
I like how this is going, by the way.
but yeah, I mean, we just had a conversation off camera about odds. Those are always going to be up the top of the rankings until somebody can knock them off.
Yeah, I think you're right. They sort of know how to win, don't they? You know, even the matches where they maybe shouldn't win, and maybe someone's got, you know, they might be 3 or 4-0 up, and which can happen in a matter of minutes, and they'll miss a ball just because of the pressure, or I'm going to beat Gareth Potts, and that does happen, you know, and they, like I say, they win matches from behind, and you never feel that them sort of players are out of the game. They find a way to win, and that's what separates them from everyone else. And I'm not saying the gap is huge because the standard is so good, but you're quite right, Harriet, that they just find a way to get results, and that's why they are, I think they're 1, 2, and maybe 4 in the rankings at the moment.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 5. Yeah,
1, 2, 5.
Yeah, no, incredible, really. And for you, Scott, I mean, the rankings are obviously going to be huge for the rest of the year. Who's impressed you? Who's in the top 16 you were surprised by? But who are you surprised that's not there?
Well, I'm going to go with people that maybe we might have expected to see in the top 16 that aren't there. Phil Harrison.
Yeah.
He's and no disrespect to Phil, he's had a poor season by his own high standards. Roland McCarthy. I know we've debated about it previously, Jimmy, but he needs to have a big weekend this weekend, I feel, if he's going to get anywhere close to the top 16. I keep saying it, and I feel really sorry because he's like a really lovely guy, and he, you know, I get on really well with him. But Scott Gillespie, when's the real Scott Gillespie going to turn up to events? I feel like I've gone really negative there.
Well, just with Scott, I mean, he's had a return to form away from Ultimate Pool
He
since
has.
the last event. He has found some form. He's been winning some very tough events up in Scotland. So maybe turning up this weekend, he's going to rediscover that form that took him to the world title.
I'd love to see it because when Scott's on form, he's absolutely terrific to watch. But there's someone else actually, and again, it just goes to show the strength and depth of Ultimate Pool. Shane Thompson, world number 1,
Yeah.
currently provisionally ranked 12th. In the blink of an eye, this is a guy who looked like he could potentially dominate Ultimate Pool, and he's having a tough season right now. So, yeah, the one thing about the golden era is the longevity. These guys have been doing it for 20 odd years and for more. There needs to be a response from this new generation of player, because it's just going to be as you were over and over again for them. So they need to do something about it this weekend.
I think it's an interesting point with Shane, because obviously making it all the way to number 1, 3 titles, 4 finals last year, it's a tough act to follow. That's hard to sort of replicate what he did last year. He was coming in this year as the sort of man to be shot at. And
Simon, I'm going to just jump in there. This is kind of my point about the golden era of players. Your Mick Hills, your Gareth Potts, your Chris Mellings, they did it year after year after year. So that's what this new generation of player has got to aspire to reach at Ultimate Pool. It's not a case of winning a couple of events. You've got to do it year in, year out, be at the latter end of tournaments, event after event after event. And I mean, look at Mick Hill's ridiculous record. Mick Hill has not been beaten in a first round at Ultimate Pool.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, it tells you a lot. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the big question for Shane and for Sean Story, who's having a decent season without actually playing his best pool. They now need to, get back on the horse, get some titles under their name, and really sort of establish themselves as stars going forward year on year on year. But as you know well, Jimmy, that's hard to do, isn't it? I mean, there's so many talented players about.
It is, yeah. And obviously with the introduction of international rules, that makes it even more difficult for me, because certainly if you go back to the sort of world rules, let's just give an example there. With world rules, you definitely play the player, because you can manipulate the rules. You know that someone might not be tactically as astute as yourself, whereas international rules, that all goes out the window. So it is more on the day than ever.
And of course, the man right at the top of the rankings is looking to do something pretty special. We saw with Shane last year, winning 3 titles in a season. We thought, would that happen again? Mick Hill's won 2 from the first 2 weekends. And he's playing with confidence now. He's got belief that he could go on and actually, he's got 4 more tournaments, and he's expecting, I think, to probably win at least 1 more, maybe 2 more titles. I mean, that would be seriously special, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and he loves Blackpool.
Yeah, he does.
He's won many, many world titles here as well, probably in this venue. So, yeah, longevity aside, Mick Hill's... The reason Mick Hill is so good is because he produces it weekend after weekend after weekend. You know what you're going to get with him, and that's hard to beat. Do you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think with Mick as well, I think that at the start of the season or last season, everyone has sort of wrote him off. He didn't really seem quite there. I think he was quite open about that. He'd had a few struggles here and there, and everyone was thinking, well, is Mick the same animal? Is he the same person? And all of a sudden, something's triggered him, and it's probably the introduction of Ultimate and how things are going, how positive everything seems to be within the game, that it sort of reignited that flame within Mick Hill, and that's dangerous, especially here, because he he is probably Mr. Blackpool. He's won several world titles, and yet don't get me wrong that if you had Chris Smalling back there and Gareth Potts back there and put them in that field as well. I mean, he's won so many titles with them players not there, but you've still got to come here and beat world-class players to win them titles that he has. So, like you say, he loves being in Blackpool. He seems to be back to somewhere near his best. And if you look at the last event, the one that he won, he looked unstoppable. He looked fantastic. He played pretty much faultless pool the whole weekend.
One thing you've kind of got to factor in as well with Mick, he's so good at pool. He's turned up at the last event. He's put no practice in. And I know that factually because we spent a couple of days filming with him. And he put no practice in during that time. Now, the last time he was in Blackpool, I think it was probably the best environment I've ever experienced pooling. The atmosphere was absolutely electric. And it was kind of like a huge weight was lifted off of Mick's shoulders, lifting that title. And I think that now we're going to see the best of him. And something else which I found out today, they've actually had to change the arenas, so that they can get more people in to watch, which is fantastic for pool. But if you get the opportunity, if you're local to Blackpool, come in, catch the action. You can get to watch the best players in the world for free and experience that electric atmosphere. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was one of the best atmospheres I've ever felt. I had to walk out to present the trophy in that final, and it was suddenly walking out from the commentary box. It was like, wow, this is special. So more of the same this weekend, hopefully. We've got some more news to talk about. Everything. There's so much going on in the ultimate pool world every single week. And whilst we've got the Pro Series this weekend, we've got a new pro as well. Carl Boyes has been announced as a new professional. I thought this might be coming next year, but it's coming now. He's actually going to be playing in this tournament. So, Jimmy, what's it like to have Carl Boyes on board?
Yeah, great. He gets where water doesn't he, Carl? He's everywhere, box office. But yeah, I mean, obviously one of the old guard, I guess you could say. An old professional, obviously very involved with the 9-ball scene, the American pool scene at the moment, but great to have him on board with Ultimate. A great player, good entertainer, and someone, again, that you can't really take your eye off. He is more than capable of winning these events, as we saw in the last event that he played in. Obviously no practice, just turned up and played the way that he did.
Yeah, he played great, didn't he?
Okay, he's not probably got the result that he wanted, but his actual performance, you're thinking, this is dangerous. So yeah, it's great to have another big name in the pool world with the stable.
I mean, he's been around the pool scene for a long, long time, but not around this version of the game other than another competition for a while. Harriet, do you think he can come straight back in and have an impact on this tournament this weekend?
Oh, definitely. I mean, just the way he plays open attacking game is just made for this rule set. He's been around Q Sports for years. It doesn't matter if he's playing this type of code or not. If you've got Q in your hand, Chris Mellon, it's the same. It doesn't matter what they're playing, as long as they're playing, they're practicing somehow. My main concern is Jimmy Croxton's gig of presenting. I mean, you've got another presenter coming in. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not threatened by that at all.
Just making sure.
You can stick to the pool. I've found my vocation with Simon and yourself. That's about. Just stick me in all weekend. I'm happy to stay here.
One thing about Carl Boyes, though, is he proved he is elite at this level. He turned up at the Supreme Series a few years ago, won a tournament there. Sorry, Jimmy, to bring it up. But one of the big things, and this is another interesting. So if you're watching this weekend, we've actually got a really special treat. So Carl Boyes' mentor, as some people know, was Darren Appleton. Darren Appleton's going to be on comms this weekend, and I cannot wait to hear what Darren Appleton's got to say about Ultimate Pool. I think that's going to be really exciting.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, what's going on with Ultimate Pool and the whole pool scene, that all of a sudden, we've got some of these legends. We saw Gaz come back last year. Now we've got Darren Appleton on comms while Carl's playing. I mean, that's incredible.
I want to see Darren play.
I mean, yeah, we all do.
I would absolutely love to see Darren come back. I think he's got unfinished business with 8 balls. That's just me dreaming as a pool fan. I'd love to see Darren Appleton back. But maybe Carl coming back might tempt Darren to come and dance one more time on our 8-ball scene.
Can we stage an old guard versus new guard Mosconi Cup?
I think that it should happen. I would, as a pool fan, I'd absolutely love to see it.
Which team do you think you'd manage to?
Well, I've been about a long time.
Whatever one would take you, Jimmy.
You'd be on the commentary team, I think.
Yes. As soon as I've lost my favourite, I'm just straight to the commentary box. But yeah, it's Be good to see, wouldn't it? That'd be exciting stuff.
It's literally you look at the list of names and you look at kind of everything they've won on the Ultimate Pool circuit, and literally I spend hours just walking around watching match to match, and just we're lucky we're in this era right now.
Yeah.
It feels like the game's suddenly getting the exposure that it really deserves. It's a huge game, and this is the grandest stage which we've ever seen 8-ball pool played on. So it's exciting to be a part of.
And let's not forget, Scott, as well. With regards to Ultimate, as we mentioned, the app and subscribing to the app. We're trying to take this back to the grassroots level as well. So we're taking it right back to the amateur game. Even talks of getting involved with universities and schools and different things. So it's so exciting for the game itself to be grown back up again from the grassroots and make sure that we have a household game, if you like, that people like to tune into week in, week out, like the darts, like everything else. Pool is really going somewhere now, so we've got a really great opportunity to make sure that the name of 8-ball pool and Ultimate lives on for years.
And Jimmy's made a great point about the app. I mean, it's not just pool on there. There's coaching videos. I mean, I've been working on my break recently, and the Gareth Potts coaching tutorial on breaking has developed my break. There's something I hope this weekend will show it, but yeah, that alone is worth $6.99 a month for me.
Yeah, absolutely. There's coaching, there's trick shots, there's loads of different things. You can even watch all the matches back, and you can subscribe to the year as well. So it's $6.99 a month, which is pence. But
is there a discount code for it?
There is, yeah. There's yeah. All the others have stopped working. I've tapped into the system. It's just Croxton 10. If you subscribe to the year, $69.99 for the entire year for everything. Get £10 off. Use Croxton 10. Here's my plug.
UltimatePool.tv and Croxton 10 gets you your discount. Make sure you tune in for that one. It's about time we had a little picks and winners. This is my favourite part of the show, Scott. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. I'm going to come to Harriet first. Jimmy, you're off the hook on this one because you're playing in the event. Not going to ask you to pick any winners because I know that you want yourself to win 2 titles this weekend. Harriet, who are you going for this weekend?
In the 4 Gareth Potts, I think he has quite a nice draw compared to the other bigger names. And 6, Tom Cousins. I think he's due a win.
Okay, so Gareth and Tom for you. What about yourself, Scott?
Well, knowing that Tom's been on holiday, rules it out. But having said that, the guy doesn't practice; he just turns up and plays great pool anyway. So, you can't really look past Hill, Potts, Melling for event 5. I know that's 3, and you're going to want me to pick one. So
get off the fence.
I'm going to get off the fence. That's normally your job, Simon.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Mick Hill for event 5, and Craig Waddingham for event 6.
Okay,
I'm going to jump in and pick an amateur winner and a ladies winner. How about that?
No, you will when we'll get to that.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah, you'll be doing that one. Yeah, absolutely. I guess you're going to want me to have a pick now. Well, I want Jimmy to win because there's a little birdie told me that you're obviously preparing for life after your playing days. You're trying to sort of come in on the commentary scene, and I'm trying to keep my job for a little bit longer. So I want you to win a title just to keep me in my job for a little bit longer. But I'm not going to pick Jimmy as much as I want him to win. I'm going to go with you, Harriet. I think Gaz with 3 finals on the trot. I think he's knocking on the door. For me, I think he's going to smash that door down and get another title. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't happen this weekend. And I'm going to go for somebody outside of the top 16. I'm going Scott Gillespie. I think his return to form in tournament play, he's going to come into this event with some confidence. And I think Scott Gillespie is going to have a deep run. I think maybe he's going to sneak a title out of it as well. So they are my picks. Make sure you tune in, ultimatepool.tv all weekend long. The action gets underway at 12 o'clock. Lots to come from the Pro Series over days 1 and 2. Final of event 5 will be on Saturday night, and final of event 6 will be on Sunday night. So lots to come from that one. Now let's turn our attention to the women's series. We've had 2 titles so far on the main event for the women's, and Harriet, you had the first one. Amy Beecham won the second one. How proud were you on winning the first one, and frustrated with not being able to sort of get the job done in event 2?
Proudly sitting on my mantelpiece. It's a nice big trophy, and obviously upset by being by the better player on the day last time.
The event itself, though, has really sort of grown some legs. It's become a big event in the women's pool world because we've not seen anything like this before. I mean, there's 80 women playing in the event. It's a huge field, lots of strength and depth as well.
Like a world championships, really. Winning one of these events is just, you're going to put your mark on the women's game. And plus, I've already said at the beginning that no one's going to win more than 2 tours because the competition is just so fierce.
I mean, the strength and depth, yeah, absolutely is fantastic. I mean, how much are yourself and the rest of the pros keeping an eye on what's going on in the women's series?
Yeah, I mean, me and Harriet get on quite well, sort of away from the table. So I've been following Harriet's sort of progress. We follow each other on TikTok and drop sort of comments and share each other's videos. So yeah, I've been following it, and the standard is unbelievable, to be honest. All the feedback that I've had from all the women is really positive. You know, they're getting a lot of pool, a lot of bang for the buck, and you know the prize money is also good, and that's only going to increase, I see. So as things progress, so the women's game has never been in a stronger position, and again, it should be another weekend of tight matches.
Absolutely, and not only that, but Ultimate Pool are actually exposing women's pool more and more and more. I mean, last time we had 7 matches on stream. You know, other tours it takes 7 tours to get that amount of exposure for us. So it's not only about the finals being on stream, but the semi-finals, the plate event, and the quarterfinals events, just superb for us.
Yeah, I think the last event, every match from the quarterfinal onwards was shown on the stream. And what's happened in the past in the pool, it almost feels like the women's game's given like that token final at the end of the tour, which doesn't ever feel right. And it's great to see that exposure, but also it's great for you guys to all be out there and get the experience of playing in those arenas, because it is very different. Not just the fact that you're out there with the people watching in those arenas, but also with the match clock and the shot clock and everything else that goes with it.
So, and generally the quality of the final isn't as good as previous matches because there's so much pressure on it. But the match between myself and Mika at the first tour, there were like 3 breaking dishes and 2 dishes in 8 frames, and quality clearances throughout. Thankfully, I was on the winning side of that. But if I was on the losing side of that, it wouldn't have mattered because the quality of pool was just there, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, it is so good to see that we're actually starting to see the women shine. They're not just playing out there; they're actually playing some great pool as well.
Definitely.
I mean, Scott, how much have you enjoyed the women's series so far?
Massive fan of the women's series. It's been terrific to watch, and you know, I do believe the game of pool has done the women's game a disservice over the last decade. You've got women players out there who can do the business and can compete on any level. This should tell everybody you need to know about the strength and depth of the Ultimate Pool Ladies Series. Emma Cunningham is 8th.
Well, let's take a look at the rankings, and you know, obviously Emma, because she's one of the professionals, she probably came in as the biggest name in the draw. As you say, she's currently ranked 8th. Harriet, you're second, but essentially tied at the top there with Amy Meacham, and you know that's a strong looking lineup.
And the standard, the more exposure to the events that happens, the better the standard is going to get. Dan, who I do the podcast with, and myself were very lucky to spend some time with Harriet at the last event, and Harriet is enjoying the fruits of her labour because of the dedication and the practice. And actually, I'm going to say this, I don't want to embarrass you, but the actual genuine love you have for pool, and that really came about because you couldn't wait just to have a knock on the table.
Yeah.
Like literally just came off a match, just wants to play again. This is exactly what we want to see in terms of the game of pool, and I am glad that the ladies' game is being played on this massive stage. Long may it continue. I'm a massive fan, and I'm actually excited for this weekend to see if Harriet can respond to Amy. For you know that a lot of people probably thought that the rivalry, no disrespect, would be between Harriet and Emma, and what's happened is Amy, quality operator, been around for years, world champion, has came out of nowhere and said, "Don't forget about me. I'm right here."
Yeah, and it was a fantastic performance in Birmingham to get that title as well. That was brilliant. And with regards to yourself, Harriet, everything you've achieved over the last year or two, all that hard work that goes into it, but is there also an element of the fact that all that hard work, the confidence you're getting from winning these events now is just rolling on, and you're just getting stronger and stronger as the event goes on?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, confidence breeds success, really. I know that with the work I'm putting in, the victories will come. It's just when they will come. Yeah, I'm just very happy with the way my game is at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic to see. But has things changed for you? Have you had to go from sort of being one of the women in the pack to now actually being out there and you're the woman to beat, essentially?
Well, I personally wouldn't say that, but yeah, I'm coming from looking at Emma and looking at Amy, you know, on a pedestal almost. to now knowing that I can compete with them on a similar level with them, it just it means a lot, really. It just means a lot for myself.
And one of the big things that's going to happen with the women's series as well, whoever finishes top of the rankings will join Emma on the Pro Series next year. Is that something that yourself and any of the other girls have been sort of talking about and is a big ambition?
I think we know about it. For me, it doesn't matter, because I know that there's still 2 tours that I need to win or do very well in to get that. So that kind of goes at the back burner of my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what would it like for you, Jimmy, is have another woman come across, make it 2 in the Pro Series? I think it's just helping the exposure of the women's game that it deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing to incentivize the ladies' game. Gives them all something to aim for, as well as the prize money and the exposure, as Harriet said, and everything's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, I've heard that you've had to get rid of your sofa to extend the mantelpiece. Is that right? Because you've got that many trophies.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's I could do with lending a few of them trophies.
Yeah.
or your break, or just your general game. To be honest, just lend it to me. That's fine. But yeah, it is great to see. And the more women that we can get sort of playing, and there's a huge thing in sport, and it's been going on for several years where the ladies don't get paid as much as the men. And whilst there is arguments of, well, the men play more sets in tennis than the ladies do, blah, 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 the work that actually goes in behind the scenes for everyone, the men, the women, the juniors, the way that the game is going and how the game is progressing, there's going to be so much work off the table. Like Harriet just said, she's putting the hours in. You're doing a lot on TikTok. You're sort of working on your own exposure to grow your own brand, your own name, so everyone knows who Harriet is. And the ladies' game has never been in better shape, and it's fantastic to see.
Also, the other thing as well, by Ultimate Pool giving this exposure, is it gives other ladies or girls something to aspire to. Who wouldn't want to play on TV? Who wouldn't want to play on that big stage? And it's a really exciting time for the women's game. And one of the great things for me about Ultimate Pool is the commitment to the women's game that's there. It's treated very seriously, as it should be, and kind of other organisations perhaps haven't given it the credit or the merit it deserves.
And while we're talking about the women's series, we need to talk about the format of the women's series as well. 80 runners in the competition this weekend. It's played in group stages. Top 2 in the group go through to the women's series. The bottom 2 in the group go through to the plate series, which means that we have essentially 2 tournaments running on the back end of the weekend. Kerry Griffiths and Leanne Cragg won the plates at the first 2 events. Are you a fan of the format for these events?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good that there are multiple winners of the events. And it's also, if you've been a bit unlucky, or you play, you're not played your best stuff on the Friday or Saturday, on the Sunday you can still be in Blackpool and you can still win a very sizable amount of money.
I mean, it takes away that a lot of people come to these tournaments. If you get knocked out, then you're out, and what you're going to do the rest of the weekend. Whereas actually here, you've got your group stages. You can get into the tournament, and you know that on Sunday you're going to be involved in a tournament one way or another, which is absolutely fantastic. And even if you're having a bad weekend and you're in the plate, you're still going to gain some good experience from that.
Absolutely, and it means that really the group stages don't matter, because you just have to get through. So you can just have a nice day Friday, gear up on Saturday, and then Sunday hopefully get the nice big trophy.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about, trying to get your hands on those trophies. So if the women's series is something that you really want to watch and enjoy, then we'll be focusing on the women's series largely on the Sunday. Hopefully we're going to be showing quarterfinals onwards, and we've got 2 finals as well. So make sure you tune in for that on Sunday. But if you want to keep up to date with any of the scores, then ultimatepool.tv, all the results, all the current scores, they're all on there as well. And make sure, of course, you subscribe so that you can watch all the action. Now it's time for our picks. Harriet, we're not going to ask you because you're playing in the event. But let me come to you first, Jimmy. Who you're tipping to win the women's series this weekend?
I think, despite being picked on and completely writing me off to win any event ever again for the rest of my life, and Harriet said she's been working on a break, which is going to be a big factor, on these tables with these rules. I'm going to say Harriet for the win.
Okay, Harriet, it's your pick. I'm going to go first, Scott, because you've had the first pick on the first couple of goes. I'm going to pick Emma. I think it's at the start of the year, I fancied her to win a tournament. 2 tournaments left. I think maybe this is the tournament that she responds and she gets her hands on the trophy. How about yourself?
Can't put I can't look past the lady next to me, Harriet. Just the sheer dedication and practice that's put in, and she won't admit this on camera. She was hurt by a defeat at the last event, absolutely guaranteed, and she's going to be back with vengeance this weekend.
I'll admit on camera I was hurt by my defeat in the last event. No one likes losing. I especially don't like losing, but I was beaten by the better player then.
Now we need to turn our attention to the Challenger Series. 288 runners in the Challenger Series this weekend, all trying to get themselves hands on their trophy, but also get in the top 16 and earn a place in the Pro Series for next year. The Challenger Series, Scott, is it's incredible, isn't it?
Brutal is what it is in short. There are no easy matches. You've probably got 30 or 40 players who wouldn't look out of place on the Pro Series. It is it's virtually impossible to pick a winner. It's very unlikely you'll see a Craig Waddingham-esque style of dominance in the Challenger Series this year. You wouldn't want to play on it.
This time last year, Craig hadn't even played his first event, and then he turned up and he made 2 semis and won 2 events as well. I don't think we're going to see that again. The winners so far, though, Neil Britton, Josh Corkett, Cameron Tolley and Callum Singleton. Impressive wins for all 4 of those guys. It's been an impressive series so far. How much are you keeping an eye on what's going on in the Challenger Series?
Yeah, I have some friends in the event, so I'm always watching the pool wherever it is really. It's great to see that Ultimate Pool is also giving them a route to the professional echelons, because like you said, there's so many players that could be in the pro event and fit well in that pro event.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that what we see with the Challenger Series is just the strength and depth in the pool world. And as you say, the thing I like is just the very clear, defined, this is what you need to do if you want to get into that Pro Series next year, top 16.
Yeah, it's all them sort of, I say amateurs very, very loosely because a lot of them do play at a professional level. It's probably just more about the consistent level that they've got. But I've watched quite a few of the amateur games this season so far, and it's a very, very high standard. It's tough there at the top. It's very, very tight. I think the rankings again are going to change quite a lot over the next 2 events, or 4 events, as it were. And I think the picks are going to be interesting when we have our picks in a minute, because I think it's a bit of a lottery who's going to win. I've got a couple in mind that might surprise you, but yeah, it's a tough one. It's good to see Callum at the top of the rankings.
Well, let's take a look at the rankings, yeah. I mean, Callum at the top, as you say, Josh Corkett second, Neil Britton and Cameron Tolley. The 4 winners are the top 4. Yeah. But it's for that top 16 place, it's heating up in behind them.
It is, yeah. As I was touching on Callum there, it was great because I spoke to Callum sort of the back end of last season and said he was sort of struggling a little bit. He seemed a little bit sort of down in the dumps when I spoke to him, just on a personal level. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but just didn't seem himself. And Callum's a really, really nice lad. He's a great player, and he certainly plays at a professional standard. So it'd be nice to see him sort of top the rankings. But like I say, a lot of names there who are more than capable of winning these events. We saw Connor Jones at the last event. He should have won an event, and he missed it by his standards, an absolute sitter. But I know that he's just won the Golden 8 Ball singles, I believe, and he won the team event. So he's going to be a player that's full of confidence. And he obviously was here in Blackpool. So is he sort of feeling the Blackpool vibe? Has he got that sea air inside him? Is he ready to take an event? So interesting.
It is interesting. I mean, how on earth do we even begin to start looking at who might be winning these events? I mean, what do the players do coming into this? I think it looks so hard. 10, 11 matches you've got to win these events. I mean, how do you get your head around that?
You can get slightly lucky in terms of some elements of the draw if you get a slightly easier draw section, so you've got a couple of easier matches. But there aren't really many easy matches. I mean, I could probably sit here and name you 20 potential winners this weekend.
Just 20. I mean, you're probably more than that.
I'd probably still get it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the strength and depth in the pool world is absolutely incredible, isn't it?
It's probably the best state the pool's been in many, many years. After COVID, everyone's want to get out and they just want to play pool.
I think one thing for me, I think a lot of the majority of the Challenger Series is going to be played on the outer arenas. They're not going to be playing front and centre. It's once you get through to the semi-finals, you're likely to be on the stream table. For me, it's which players can cope with the pressure of being out there, because you've both been out there and experienced it. It's a very different environment to have to play pool in.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you've got the bright lights, you've got the people watching you, you've got the cameras there. It all sort of takes its toll. And of course, we're all sort of trying to promote our brand ourselves. And obviously, you put your post on Facebook, and I'm watching you, mate, and I'm watching good luck, and you're getting like your family and friends, and that brings a pressure in itself. So not only have you got the pressures of probably having to, a lot of players having to come here, and maybe they could do with the money, or maybe they, like I say, they're pushing that top 16, whatever their circumstances might be. We all have our own pressures on and off the table. So you've got everything, despite the fact that the standard is so high, and the game is so tough. It's just again, and I keep saying this and I keep going back to it, but it is just get a coin and go like that.
Yeah.
And not only that, the prize money is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible.
You're talking about prize money that pros were winning a few years ago. It's just great to see, isn't it? It's just amazing to see.
I played on a pro tour for years and years and years, and I never even played for anything close to what the challengers are playing for now, which is just absolutely incredible. I mean, yeah, it's a minefield. It's such a deep field, but the rewards are absolutely fantastic for anyone that can break through and win these trophies. I think it's time for the picks. Scott, come to you first. We're all four of us going to get a pick on this one, of course.
Okay. I'm not
Two
going
picks.
I'm not going to say either event, but there's a young man from Manchester called Aidan Hughes, whose game I've been very impressed with, and I know he's been sticking an awful lot of hours in with Simon Fitzsimmons, and that's the best practice you can get is playing with an experienced pro. And the second one, this is completely out of left field because he went out early by his standards last time. But sit and watch Jamie Burnett play pool. He's got a Rolls Royce Q action. His cue ball control is unbelievable. And if he turns up this weekend, he's more than capable of winning.
Yeah, former snooker pro as well, of course. So he's absolutely, if he's putting some time in on the table, you expect him to be dangerous. Harriet, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think Dave Fernandez and the second one, probably Callum. Callum, he's just consistent, isn't he? And that's what you need at this level. Like Craig last year, just consistency is key.
I always feel like with Callum, it needs to be a special performance to beat him because of the level he plays at almost every single time he plays.
And last time he was beaten here in the semi-final, and it took a really special performance in the decider.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just loves the place, and he's won a World Masters.
And he's had that experience of playing out there in that environment and winning in that environment, which I think could be huge for him as well. How about yourself then, Jimmy? Who are we going with?
Well, I was going to go with, I had three in mind. Connor Jones is one of them, just on the fact that he won the Golden 8 Ball, last week, and he won the team event as well, so he's full of confidence. But I do remember when we won the team event a couple of seasons ago at the Golden 8 Ball, and I'd won the mixed doubles as well. I felt like I couldn't hit the ball for about 2 weeks because the tables are completely different. So I'm going to go with the fact that that's going to throw him out a little bit, even though he's obviously clearly a player on form. I'm going to go for Cole Bedford because he's recently got to a final of a pro-am in Leicester, and I watched him on the day. He played some very, very good stuff, so he'll be full of confidence. And I'm going to go for Darryl Whitworth. And again, Darryl, former snooker player, very attacking, very sort of positive player, and more than capable of blowing people away. So they're my two picks.
Okay, I feel like I'm piggybacking on the back of you because I'm going to pick Connor Jones because I was so impressed with the way he responded. He missed the ball in the semi-finals of the first event last weekend, and was able to respond by making the final, the second event, which was just incredible mental strength. And as you say, he's a man in form now. What he did last week, winning that tournament, was absolutely huge for him. And I played for England with him. He's such a confident player. He really does. When he gets the momentum and he gets that confidence, you can watch out. He can really steamroll people. And I'm going for Andy Blurton. I'm going for Andy because I think that's right at the start of the year, he was a player I thought would finish in the top 16, and I think he needs a performance to get himself up to that top 16. I guess there are picks. Scott, me and you, we've got a bit of a battle going on. I'm 2-0 up. I just need to make sure I keep hammering that point just in case it's a bad weekend for me on the picks.
I'm really hoping it's a bad weekend for you, Simon. Like I'm praying it's a bad weekend for you because you never let me live it down, literally.
Yeah, I think the gap might just get wider and wider as well as the year goes on. Thank you very much for your company. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you on, Jimmy, for the second time, Harriet for the first time. Hopefully have you back soon as well. And as always, Scott, thank you very much indeed. So make sure you tune in, sign up, ultimatepool.tv, $6.99 a month if you want to watch this weekend. All the action gets underway at 12 o'clock on Friday, and then we're pretty much live and exclusive all weekend long, all the finals, one on Saturday night, all the rest on Sunday. So make sure you tune in for them. And of course, there is a little discount code, Jimmy. Was it Croxton 10?
Croxton 10, that's right. If you sign up for the year, Croxton 10. Croxton 10, Croxton 10. I'll just keep saying it until you remember it. That's fine. Yeah.
Croxton 10 if you want to sign up for that as well. So look forward to having your company all weekend long. But for now, goodbye.